and plugging sequential gears while we were at it. First time we've seen the Aussie racing cars over. The guy in the middle right now, driving down the middle of the grid.
He's a bit confused.
That's Troy Wilson, former West Coast Eagles player. He's driven a sprint car, he's raced a fair bit of motocross, and here he is having another crack at a different form of motorsport. Have a look at the size of this grid.
Now, it's great to see Trent Young on pole position after that big rollover he had down in Tasmania. He's in the Nissan Altima as well. That's a bit interesting to see the Nissan on the front row.
For the first time in Perth, the Aussie racing cars are getting set. Young versus Messina on the front row. Up come the revs. Who's going to get the jump? Away we go. Messina gets a little bit sideways. Young will try and get across to block that line, but he's going to be the clear leader as they head into turn one. Very close. Chamberlain, a bit of bumper line.
Contact in the back, and Bella's pulled off on the outside there.
Big one at the back.
Action everywhere.
One of the Nissan Altimas is involved, as well as that's Shane Smith trying to make his way. Is it going to be a safety car? That look like they're going to try and get that one cleaned up as we go through the S's for the first time. And there is so much carnage going on the front straight. Huge chance of a safety car being waved. We'll keep going at the moment, though. We're still green as we go over the back of the circuit. Another West Aussie at the front of this little pack.
3 wide down on the first lap. This is exciting stuff. There's a whole range of different body shells on these cars. Make no mistake, underneath they're all exactly the same. A 1300cc Yamaha engine, 6-speed gearbox, and they're a bit like a 2-pedal car. You brake with the left foot, accelerate with the right foot, and away you go.
Game over Gold Coast on board for Darren Messini. The other Messini right now is under pressure, hard under brakes.
So Darren Chamberlain down the inside. He's one of the more experienced campaigners. He made a point yesterday saying he's 30 years older than James Abella sitting next to him on the front row of the grid there, on the second row of the grid. So we've got yellow flags and bits of race cover all over the place.
Chamberlain went straight over the front of a piece of debris and actually damaged the front splitter on the little Aussie racing car. No passing allowed under yellow flags. We stay green. That's the Miskovich car. Greg Miskovich, one of the local boys, as the other local boy, Troy Wilson, proves that he's got a bit of dirt experience. Now, what happened at the back here? There's a few guys that were slow to jump. Let's see if we can dissect where the carnage started. Oh, there it is. First tap, second tap, and 3 cars caught up in that one. Shane Smith very unlucky. Oh, and then the 4th Ultima comes flying in at the back.
So it takes a little bit of a rub and away they go. But you can see Trent Young there. He got a great jump. He jumped in the first corner in front of Messini, chamber down the inside, but it's all at the back there. The action's happening.
And James Abella went nowhere. That's him pulling off. So problems for Abella at the start. Second in the championship. And we gave him the big rev up before the start of the race, and drama as James Abella pulls off at the start of the race. Riding on board Maurice Messini, the car squirms around under brakes. Peter Carr up the inside.
That's what I love about Aussie racing cars. There's always plenty of action. There's always plenty of passing. And you can see that, well, we're trying to get those cars out of the way. Some officials on the racetrack. But yellow flags everywhere, so no passing here. They've got to slow down and take it easy.
Good job by the officials to keep this green. Here goes Pingle on the brakes as well. He's trying to make up a few more positions after starting out of position number 12. Oh, riding on board with Darren Messini. Game over is a really large kind of laser skirmish and go-karting place running up on the Gold Coast, owned by Tony Quinn, who's the owner of this series and the Australian GT Championship as well. He's out there, the boss right now, racing with his son Kent. And there's a few of these VIP Pet Foods cars. They look like junior Shane Van Gisbergen cars.
Look, the one thing I do love about these Aussie race cars, have a look at the way that the steering input's happening there. It's a slow circuit. You've got to turn the steering wheel slow here. You've got to set the car up early and keep the momentum. That's what I love about Perth. Bit of tyre smoke rubbing on one of the cars. That's
Rhett Noonan. He was fighting towards the front of the field at the last round in Tasmania. Miskovich on the outside. Lovely at the inside. Who's going to be the bravest at the bottom of the hill? It's such a late braking area.
And once you get offline a little bit, it's a little bit slippery. Oh, that's close. Up on the curb. Love to see that sort of stuff. So once you get offline, it's a little bit dusty and dirty here at Perth Raceway. So, you know, it's very hard to make those out-braking manoeuvres when you're down on the dusty stuff. But the over-under manoeuvres, one of the things that happens a lot here in Perth.
Mark Griffith in the middle there. And he was having a look up the inside of Troy Wilson in the big Ford coupe. It's cool to see the older body style still getting around.
It's great to see, and obviously they're very competitive still. The old Falcon, the old Commodore, and the old 40. It's still competitive amongst these later model cars.
We also have the Euro GT out there as well. Maurice Messini with the VIP Pet Food sponsor. Good chance to ride on board with the man who's 4th right now, but is the reigning champion, carries the #1, plugging gears over the hill. And this is what's great. You come over the hill and you can see right down at the bottom at turn 7, and it's a great passing opportunity.
You can hear that little 1300 engine revving down the gears. You're on the left foot of the brake, no clutch on the down change. You just pick your revs and away you go. Smooth on the throttle. That's the key here at Barbagallo Raceway.
They rev hard. There's plenty of work around such a tight track. Turn up the volume and enjoy a lap with Maurice Massini.
So it's just a slight lift as you lift up that and change gear, unload the gearbox, hard on the brakes, but you've got to carry speed. Oh, Peter Carr locks a brake. You see Darren Chamberlain in front of him running wide as well. Over the top of the hill here, it's flat. Pull another gear at the crest.
Oh. Does well not to unload those rear tyres across there. The Barbagallo sweeper at Barbagallo Raceway, and then hard on the brakes. A bit of camber in this corner. Such an important corner for setting up the move over the hill.
And it's all about carrying speed through that middle part of the corner, getting on the throttle early and not overcooking on the exit. And you can see he's just had a little moment in the middle there, and it's cost him to Peter Carr. Now he's trying to find that toe battle to get down the inside, but it's Trent Young in front there that's just driving away from these three who are battling for that second place.
Yeah, this battle is only going to serve our race leader Trent Young nicely right now. As these three battle, he'll open up that lead. He's already got a 3.1 second lead after just 6 laps of this race, 5 laps of this race. So he's killing it at the moment. Pingle's found himself a fair bit of room, and this is Noonan up the inside, is it? This is going to be a bit of brave work. Can he get the car pulled up? Nice move. He goes up the inside of Lynch at the approach of turn 1. Look at the back end step out.
Because they're on that Yokohama tyre, it's an all-weather tyre, so it's got grooves in it. It generates a fair bit of grip, but on these cars, the whole car moves around a lot. So it's about that fine balance, and that's why we talked about young James Abella earlier, where he's come from that karting background, that karting history, and it's a similar way to drive these cars. They're like a big go-kart with 6 speed.
Under brakes, and more battles going on. Watch out for Troy Wilson here. He's going to have a bit of a late dive under brakes. He was lucky that he saw him coming. Oh, there's a problem with the left front. Maybe even more than that. It looks like maybe one of those little Yamaha motors has let go and he's slipped on potential oil. You can see a bit of a trail as well. So there might be some fluid down at that part of the racetrack. Can he get the car moving? And it's just going to get further and further beach down there at the bottom of the hole. Battle for second. Once again, Maurice Massini, reigning champion, and Peter Carr is starting to get impatient. He's third at the moment, riding up behind Darren Chamberlain, up through the S's. Do we get a little bit of curb on the right? Just a touch.
You'd be brave to get a bit of curb in one of these. The curb's half the size of the car. You see Darren Chamberlain there. He's just running a little bit wide, which is giving Peter Carr a sniff. Maurice Massini in the background. He's driving that car hard. But remember, these guys, it's their first time here. So every time they go out, they learn little bits of the track. They learn about apexes. They learn about new parts where they can pass and carry some speed.
It's tough being the middleman in this situation, isn't it? Because you want to get around the guy in front of you, but if you go too far offline, you leave yourself vulnerable.
Well, you're busy. You're counting down the laps. You're looking in front. You're looking behind. You're trying to make sure that the little mistake you make doesn't cost you, but it allows you the opportunity to get past. As you can see, Maurice Massini, he's having a bit of a look down the inside. Oh, I don't think he's close enough on that occasion.
You can brake so late at these cars at the best of times, but because turn 7's an uphill approach, you can really slam on the brakes at the last minute. Is this the spot now for Peter Carr? Massini's got a pretty good run out of turn 7. Oh, the back end steps out on approach. And again,
the rear of the car sliding. Massini, he's hard in the throttle. He wants that. He wants to be up on the podium there.
He's maybe got the speed to get past both of these guys right now. Peter Carr, 5 races he's collected so far. Successful in Adelaide, successful in Tasmania. Can he keep it going here in Perth? Oh, big slide at the back as well for Massini. As Chamberlain drives slightly defensive at the approach to turn 6, downhill on approach, so you've got to be careful. Sometimes you can have a bit of a tailwind down there. It can try and push the car out to the sand. Good a time as any to get out of there.
Yeah, it's a good spot to be. He's out of there across the other side of the sandpit, but this battle continues. I mean, these guys, you see them over the years with Aussie racing cars. It's always a close battle. The toe comes right into it, and you can see there Peter Carr trying to break the toe from Maurice Massini behind him. But it's all about trying to set yourself up. Be ready. We've got, 4 laps to go. And here's obviously this is where we had that little engine drama before.
Yeah, McNamara, engine lets go, slips on potential oil or coolant, whatever it was. That was the problem.
I think with that much smoke, it's probably got something to do with the oil that came out of the engine.
That would make sense. That was the view on board of Darren Massini's car. as he ran away from turn 7. This battle's not going anywhere. The leader is Trent Young's out of here. 5 seconds the lead, and now a good chance to conserve tyres. That's not conserving tyres for Peter Carr. He's pitched that left front a couple of times actually now.
He's pushing quite hard, yeah. And the way the points championship works with this category is you get to the end of the weekend and then they allocate the points for the round. So in terms of the championship, it keeps it close right to the last round. So Peter Carr, whilst he's trying to protect his championship lead, he needs to win to be up there at the front.
We also have a reverse grid race a bit later in the weekend. We reversed the top 10 a bit later on, and right now that'll be looking good for Major, who's sitting there in 10th, right in front of young James Duckworth. Traffic now for our race leader. It's probably the only cars he's going to see at the moment. He's got a monster lead. Good chance to conserve those tyres. 1 set of tyres for the weekend. It's a pretty harsh tyre allocation, considering V8 Supercars get 7 sets to go through the course of their weekend from today onwards.
And it's about using those tyres at the right time as well. I know some guys in qualifying only put 2 tyres on to see if they could maximise the car and then save tyres, because it is a hard circuit on tyres. It works the rear tyres quite hard, especially in these little Aussie racing cars. So, and that's where you'll see over the course of the weekend with all the races they do. Oh, down the inside.
Troy Wilson, a couple of West Aussies going toe-to-toe. And that's pretty impressive. Brett Noonan does a lot of racing in this series. Troy Wilson's picked up this weekend, hopped in the car, and he's picking through the field quite nicely. He's advanced as far as 8th at the moment. Very good effort from 19th on the grid. He's managed to find his way up inside that top 10 invert for potentially a spot a bit higher up in the grid later on in the weekend.
He's got the bit between the teeth, hasn't he? He's off and running. Home crowd, home advantage. He's confident and get on with it. But Noonan's coming back at him down the inside, has a bit of a look, but it's all about getting that exit right for this corner. Up over top of the hill, and Massini now down the inside of Carr. And will he get the job done? Oh, that is close stuff.
They give each other some room. Carr holds onto the spot. Massini loses all of that momentum. Let's hope we don't go seeing Nissan Ultima's bashed up like that later in the weekend.
So coming up on traffic now, that could actually play into it in these last couple of laps. That battle for 8th place is still going on strong.
This is excellent. That's Major over to the left-hand side. He'll have the inside run at the approach of turn 1. They're all queuing up on each other. Wilson again has to get by Brett Noonan. Does so nicely. James Duckworth tacked into this as well. Only one of our younger racers. The old Ford definitely stands out there. Up we go.
It looks good, doesn't it, against these later model cars, but you can see giving each other just enough room. This is on for these last couple of laps, that's for sure.
Can Duckworth get a bit of a run on Major? Brett Noonan's the cork in the bottle at the moment in the Battery World car. No shortage of laps around Wanneroo. Barbagallo under brakes again down at the bottom of the hill, turn 6. Oh, running out of room.
Inside, outside, which way will we go?
Looks like yellow flags have been withdrawn from that part of the circuit too, so it's open slather. This has been called the final lap right now, so last lap for our race leader has just gone across the start line. So these guys will still have one more to go. Brett Noonan at the inside of Troy Wilson again. That thing must be just so fast in a straight line, because Wilson keeps getting by him at turn 1 and then having to defend. This is the battle from 8th down. So Wilson, Noonan, Duckworth and Major as they spread out like a supercar restart. And hard under brakes. And James Duckworth is picking his way through here nicely. 2 positions in the space of a lap. Great driving.
You see there Duckworth, as he was on the brakes, the whole car drifting across the track. They're exciting little cars to drive, and they produce this fantastic racing as well.
Your race leader, he has a country mile, 7.2 seconds.
What a great recovery from him. That massive accident they had down in Tasmania, the car upside down, he climbed out the side of it, and there was not much left of it. But to be recovering to here, to Perth, to actually get pole position, and for Trent Young to come away and win, first time in the Nissan Altima, they've had it win. What a great result.
Hopefully we can see Nissan's taking wins later today, maybe. Could it be a good omen? Oh, a bit of a bump and run, last corner. Peter Carr wants that second place, not going to get it. Chamberlain holds on, and Peter Carr couldn't quite get around him. Maurice Massini running home in 4th, last year's champion. And good drive from Pingle. Started 12th, progressed up to 6th, needed to do so. And here comes this battle that we were talking about earlier. Wilson will get home for 8th, Duckworth 9th, Major, lovely. Throw a blanket over the rest of them. Brett Noonan lost about 5 spots towards the end of that one, but I don't think we'll see quite a gap like that for a while in the Aussie racing cars. Trent Young, he gapped him from Darren Chamberlain. Peter Carr, your series leader, doing well this weekend. And Adam Ubergang didn't see too much from him this weekend. He was just kind of going around in his own space, looking after tyres.